listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello. Welcome to another edition, a full edition of the Narrative Podcast. The Narrative Podcast is the home for original people peace, and original people reciprocity. And I am your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. Welcome all my narrators. The Narrative Podcast promotes positive self-images about original people and original people culture. Welcome to the Narrative Podcast. So, for all my narrators or my regular listening audience, they're familiar with my podcast and my format. But before I begin each broadcast, I walk potential new listeners or people unfamiliar with me or my platform, kind of walk you through, my format before I dive into the content. And I will do that momentarily, but I just want to connect and, get interpersonal with everybody and tap in and check in. So how's everybody doing on this great weekend? Well, it's a great weekend in my neck of the woods. Very nice out, very spring-like. Finally, it's been like colder than I don't know what lately, but the weather today is like really nice. But not for nothing. Spring is actually the new year. But we've been programmed and conditioned to believe, January is the new year. But that's a whole nother subject for another time. But welcome to the Narrative Podcast. We got a big religious holiday coming up for those, my listeners, my family, my Narrative Podcast family who are of the Christian faith. Tomorrow is Easter Sunday. So how many of you guys are going to be celebrating that? I mean, it's just interesting to me that, the day when Christ was supposed to be resurrected, according to the Bible, it only happened once, but yet every single year, almost every single year, it's a different day. But he only came back once. That's interesting. But anyway, welcome to the Narrative Podcast. I got a really good show lined up for you today. But before diving into the synopsis of the Narrative Podcast, I just want to take a moment out to acknowledge a beloved figure within our community in the entertainment industry that has given us, over 3 decades of his best in the craft of acting. We just lost Louis Gossett Jr. I believe he passed away on the 28th. So what's the day? The 30th. So not too long ago. Yeah. Dynamic actor, to say the least. And I'm not just saying that because he's no longer here, but, he was definitely a top tier actor. He had hits on hits on hits on hits on hits. He's been acting since like the late 50s, early 60s. He's been on, had iconic roles in movies, Roots, in the 70s, and like almost like every blaxploitation movie you can think of. TV shows, classic TV shows like Good Times and The Jeffersons. He made cameos on those. Just a real talent. Just really gifted with the craft of acting. I haven't really been checking. I don't personally check for the cause of death when we lose somebody in the industry. I just remember, what they meant to me. Growing up, seeing them, in their element, whether it's acting, whether it's, sports, or if it's entertainment, you know what I'm saying? But, some of my personal favorites was like Digstown, Jaws. He also did like one of my favorite movies that he was in was like Enemy Mine in the 80s. Seeing that growing up. Officer and the Gentleman, Jaws. Iron Eagle, I think he was like in all of them. Like I said, he got, over 3 decades of, acting. He was highly believable in everything he played in. Stole the scene in every movie he ever, was played in. Just a dynamic actor. So I know he's going to be missed by peers, Hollywood, and, the industry, and definitely within our community. So, yeah. Just a little sidebar, kind of really don't got nothing to do with nothing, but he was from the era of great cinema. They just movies today just really kind of suck. They really do. I don't know too many people that even go to movie theaters anymore if they don't have to. If they're not going on a date or something, I don't know too many single people that just go to the movies. The only downside about him passing is one of the last movies that he leaves us with is that abomination, The Color Purple. That was a freaking horrible movie. So no shade to all the actresses that played in that. Fantasia Barrino, she was very prideful about her role as Celie in The Color Purple. She gave a real, rousing acceptance speech at the NAACP Image Awards, I think, about, what the role of Celie meant to her, how, it embodied her life, that she felt, that character was an embodiment of her. So, but we family, we know that movie was trash. And if we're going to be honest, the original one was trash too. I mean, the acting was top tier, the production was top tier, but the premise of the overall movie the degradation of the black man in that movie was just, horrendous. But yeah. So before I walk you guys through the synopsis of the Narrative Podcast, I'm just going to take a brief moment of silence to honor our brother, veteran actor Louis Gossett Jr. All right. Rest in power, brother. May the ancestors be pleased. Narrative Podcast sending out love, light, healing energy to the family, friends, associate, and colleagues of our, transition brother, Louis Gossett Jr. All right. So, like I said, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of the Narrative Podcast before diving into the content today, as I do every single day for those that listen to my podcast on a regular basis. I just came back from hiatus. I did a broadcast on Thursday, but, when I first started doing this, I had always just did it over the weekend, like full episodes of the Narrative Podcast all on the weekend. But without any further ado, we're going to dive into the synopsis of the Narrative Podcast before diving into the content. So let's start out at the top. Tippy, the name. I named my podcast the Narrative Podcast as I don't like the false narrative that the media weaves about original people and original people culture. I'll get to the original part a little bit later. So what I wanted to do to counter that is design a platform where I'm playing up my people, uplifting us and edifying us, and putting out positive reinforcement to, everything we do as a people. Because the media's job is to, tear us down, vilify us, and to, portray us in a negative light. So that's why I started doing this podcast. I wanted to change the narrative about how our people is portrayed in the media and perceived worldwide. That's pretty much my mission statement, is to bring awareness of why it's important to put out positive frames of reference about our people and culture, and to inspire those that listen to my podcast to utilize their platforms to do the same. So that's a perfect segue to my tagline. The Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. How do I destroy the negative stereotypes about our people and our culture? By providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. Hence the title, The Narrative Podcast. So now that you know what it's about, I'm, just give you some misnomers and some more things you should know about it before diving into the content. So, as I said, the media does a real bang-up job at, making our people appear degenerate, weaponizing the media to basically assassinate our characters, giving us a poor, self image of us, making us feel bad about ourselves by, the filth on the television, like, marketing that as an accurate portrayal of our people, and convincing the rest of the world, these images of us is accurate. They primarily do it for profit, but mostly they do it because the media is controlled by the powers that be. Who are the powers that be? Elite society, the upper class, the higher echelon, aka wealthy white people. And it's their agenda to maintain a superior image. They want to be the face of sophistication, of class, of decorum, of what they want to be, the representation of what wealth and abundance is supposed to look like. They want to sell the image of, you need to live life in excess. You don't matter unless you have 6 figures or better. You're not intelligent if you're not wealthy. You're not important if you're not financially wealthy. Your life doesn't matter if you're financially wealthy. This is the image that they want to, sell to, the free world. Like if you don't have money, you don't matter. And they do that by using the media to make everyone else look lower in stature and degenerate when compared to them and how they're living. They want to show off their big estate, their mansions with the east and the west wing, and basically flex. I can get on a private jet and, do whatever I want, when I want. And, nobody can stop me. I'm wealthy, I'm powerful. And, that's, what they want to project. That's the image they want to project. They want to make everybody who isn't in the elite circle look, like an ant. Like, they don't matter. Make everyone else look insignificant when compared to them. Now, they do this to everybody. They do this to all people, all walks of life. They do it to their own people. They do it to other white people. They do it to, Spanish people, Asian people, everybody. But they especially do it to our people. And the reason why they pick on us the most out of everybody and, create all these systems and things to exclude us is because they fear us the most out of everybody. We are a direct threat to their existence because they're aware of their history and they're aware of ours. And they've studied history and they know, without us, it wouldn't be a them. We are the direct reason that they're financially wealthy. How they acquired their wealth and their power is because of us. And we, our resistance threatens their livelihood. Their biggest fear is once we, stop fighting amongst ourselves and reclaim everything that they took and are taking from us, that we would rise up and do to them what they've done and what they're currently doing to us. And basically, they're afraid that we're going to usurp their power. But, It's an ill-gotten fear because that's not who we are as a people. We don't have a history of forcing our ideas and beliefs on other people, making them, believe in what we believe in. We don't have a history of designing institutions and forming systems and societies that exclude, different classes and different types of people. We don't have a history of that. We don't have a history of rape and pillage. We don't have a history of stealing. We don't have a history of claiming things that is ours that actually isn't ours, but saying it's ours. Lying, saying we invented things that we didn't invent. We don't have a history of that. They have a history of that, and they know that. And that's why they, control the media like the way they do. So next order of business. I'm going to tell you the reason why I call my target audience my narrators. I call my target listening audience my narrators because we're living in the digital information age. We share everything online. We conduct business online. So living in this highly technological world that we live in today, there's positives and negatives and everything. But the positive thing, living in the era that we live in, we have the unique ability to project whatever image that we want to project. Because before, this technology came along, you just kind of had to find your own way in life. But now you can kind of make the rules online. You can be whoever, whatever you want to online. You can tell or narrate your own stories. So that's why I call my target listening audience my narrators. Because, we can be who we're naturally supposed to be as a people. And who are we naturally supposed to be as a people? We're supposed to be kings and queens, gods and goddesses of the universe. Not niggas, not bitches, not pimps, not whores, not thoughts, not gangbangers, and all this other silly, degenerate nonsense that the media portrays us as, depicts us as, propagates and stigmatizes us as. So that's why I call my target listening audience my narrators. We have the unique ability to change the narrative by narrating our own stories. If history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this: if you don't tell your own story will be told for you. And so that's really the core concept behind the Narrative podcast is, to really push the underlining point of why it's so important to tell our stories accurately about who we are as a people and about our culture and about, our way of life. Because the media only puts out, false, inaccurate information about us. And, unfortunately, people that don't, live around us, all they have to, know of us is these negative frames of reference that the media puts out about us. But as I said, the media is ran by a group of people with a horrible, wicked agenda. But at the same time, the media is a business. And the first rule of business is supply and demand. So, these degenerate images cannot exist if, there isn't a demand for it. We create the demand for degeneracy by sharing this ignorant nonsense that they come up with. They come up with this ignorant nonsense because they do their statistical research, as a business, and they create product to accommodate, the demand for degeneracy. Degeneracy is $1 billion a year business. I would dare even say now in the 2000s, it's $1 trillion a year business. And all of it's coming from our people. They have inadvertently made us the face of degeneracy. Just they did it on the slick over years. But we can break that cycle by posting positive content, by showing them, the corporations, that we're not interested in it. We don't want to be represented like that. That doesn't float our boat. And just, post images of, who we are as a people, like what I do here on my platform, And the types of content that I share here is just stories about us triumphing in the face of adversity, unifying as a people, excellence, doing for self, entrepreneurialism, basically being the antithesis of what they say we are. That's what I provide, the service I provide here with my platform, the Narrative Podcast. So it's not the end-all, be-all solution, but it is a solution. It is a way that we can directly control. We can't control how people perceive us. That's outside of the realm of our control. But we can control the images that we as a people project and put out into the universe. We can't control what the powers that be, what types of messages that they're sending. But we can control the messages we're sending. So, that's why I call my target listening audience my narrators. And that was basically my mission statement of the Narrative Podcast. Go over some more quick little misnomers before diving into the content today. First and foremost, on this platform, I refer to our people as original people. The reason being is because, first and foremost, it's historically accurate, meaning we existed before everyone else existed. We was first on this planet. For people that don't believe in planets, we was here first on this plane. Before anything existed, we existed. So we was here first, historically accurate. And contrary to all unpopular belief, our history did not begin with slavery, the enslavement of our people. We existed on every single corner of the globe, especially here in the Americas. There was not one place on earth that we didn't already exist. And Ripley's Believe It or Not, we didn't get there via slavery, via slave boats. We were just already inhabiting all these places. We was already on the continent of Asia, everywhere, Japan, China, everywhere, Mongolia, the Philippines, we was already over there, we was already in the Mediterranean, all parts of Greece, we was already in Italy, we We was already in like European countries like Europe, UK, you know, London, like people, places you would think just only white people, like when you would think of like Holland. No, we was already over there. We was already in Norway. We was already in Sweden, Ireland, Scotland. We was down under in Australia. We was all over the islands, you know, Hawaii, Hawaii. I was about to say Maui. That's in Cali, but anyway, you know, we was everywhere. We was in the Bahamas. So we need to stop them from spreading that false narrative that, you know, our existence started with slavery. We was already, you know, here on every single corner of the globe originally. And then another little misnomer, we didn't come from monkeys, wasn't living in caves. We was always highly advanced people. We taught and enlightened the whole rest of the world. We wasn't, you know, hunched over, grunting, living in caves, using prehistoric tools and weapons. That was another group of people. That wasn't us. We was always fully sentient, standing upright with perfect posture. We didn't have no cranial overbite. Like, nah, that wasn't us. So that's what I mean, you know, when I call our people, you know, original people, when I refer to our people as original people versus black or African American or, you know, whatever you refer to yourself as, whatever your little pronouns are, you know, whatever, you know, landmass or country that you feel obligated to pledge allegiance to. You know, our originality supersedes all of that. So yeah, which brings me to the second point of why I refer to our people as original people, because there are so many different types of us, hailing from so many different land masses, believing in so many different things, and referring to ourselves as so many different things. But at the end of the day, the one thing that we all have in common is that we're original people, and we can all, you know, we all have that, you know, one thing in common. We can all trace our lineage back to the original point of origin for everyone existing here on, you know, this planet, or for those that don't believe in planets, this plane, you know, this dimension or whatever, however it go. But yeah. Some people believe we live in something called Kai. But yeah, that's what I mean when I refer to ourselves as original. I'm not telling you to refer to yourself as original. I ain't saying what you shouldn't, whatever you're comfortable referring to yourself as. But here on my platform, the Narrative Podcast, I choose to refer to our people. I choose to identify as an original man. And I choose to refer to my people as original people on the Narrative Podcast. Like in your personal life, in real time, you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. You can call yourself African American. You can call yourself black. You can call yourself a Negro. You can call yourself a nigga if you want to. Like, whatever you call yourself. Like, You can do it whatever, but on Narrator Podcast, I refer to our people as original people. So yeah, next order of business, some more misnomers. This is a positive space. I don't dabble in gossip and rumors. This is a platform. My basic mission statement is to uplift and edify my people with positive frames of reference by providing positive frames of reference. Positive. I just try to give positive reinforcement to everything that we're doing in the world, and that's the space that I'm trying to create and promote. I don't do any slander, gossiping, or I don't try to tear down brothers and sisters. I really try to discourage against that. I believe slander and gossip is tearing us apart as a people. But basically, the Narrative Podcast is a positive space, so I don't do that. Next thing, this is a time-sensitive platform. I try not to exceed 1 hour per broadcast, and the reason for that is because I don't want to, bore my listening audience to sleep, and I want to talk about a whole lot of things. And, this is an all audio platform, so it's really easy to start rambling. If you don't have bulleted points, if you don't have speaking points, it's really easy to go down rabbit holes and ramble. And that's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to, go on a glorified rant about anything. I want, my content to mean something. I also don't want you to have to clear your whole entire schedule to listen to an episode. I want to make my point clear. I want to have my subject matter concise and to the point, and cohesive, and applicable and practical. So I don't want to shoot over anyone's head. I also don't want to dumb myself down. I don't want to lose anybody. So I know I can't take everybody with me on the journey, but I don't want to just because we have so many things to distract our attention going on. Like, everybody got short attention spans now, and the quickest way to tune somebody out is to, boring. Like, I don't want my content to be boring. So I want to try to make it fresh and entertaining, and basically just keep it short and sweet and to the point, and say what I need to say and mean what I need to say, and, have my message resonate with the listening audience. And it's not going to resonate if it's, if it's just too long. Like, a lot of podcasters, they're like, it's good. Some of the subject matter be good, but it's like, after a while you just kind of start tuning out, because like, you're just in the back of your mind, like, where are you going with this? And I don't want to be that guy to make you be like, where are you going with this? I hit all my points, like, boom, boom, boom. And, trying not to bore you to death, and, just keep it moving, keep it fluid, and keep it straight to the point. That's what I attempt to try to do here on the Narrative Podcast. Also, if I ever bring up a brother's or a sister's name, it's only to illustrate a point. Because like I said, I don't do gossip, negativity, and slander. If I'm, bring up entertainer's name, it's not to an attempt to try to build my attach my name to a hot trending topic. It's just to illustrate a point that I'm trying to make. And the main point that I try to stress here on the Narrative Podcast, when I deliver commentary about current events, I'm just unpacking it through, our eyes, like how we see it, what it means to us. I focus on the why. And why do we do most anything we do within our community that's negative. How does such righteous, well-to-do people who are just, righteous and virtuous by nature, like how did this particular incident happen? How do we go from this to that? Why is this a norm? What triggered this chain of events? So that's the perspective I'm usually coming from. And the perspective that I link it back to is we're programmed and conditioned to do it by the powers that be. They've been programming us and conditioning us all the way since, slavery started. So it's learned behavior. That's why we'll bring up a famous person's name when I'm talking about current events, how it relates and pertains to us. It's never to, denigrate them or talk bad about them or kick dirt on their name, nothing like that. And I don't encourage other people to do it on their platforms. Like, you can talk about whatever subject matter you want to on your platform. But at the end of the day, like, we shouldn't be taking cheap shots at each other and trying to, drag each other down and drag each other through the mud and drag each other all up and down social media. Now, but what I do is, what I will do, if a famous person is irresponsibly using their whatever platform they occupy, if I feel like they're intentionally putting out a false narrative, like, if like somebody really famous that's that's kind of inadvertently chosen to represent our people, if they're doing something like super foul, super sus, they got us all out here looking crazy, and I think they're doing it on purpose to garner attention, to make money, then I will say something to that in that respect. But other than that, I don't talk bad about people. I don't drag people through the mud. I don't try to call people names, call people out their name, encourage people to call other people out their name or nothing like that. So I'm setting the tone. When I finally do start interviewing guests, you will never say, that I ask leading questions or try to set them up to make them look bad, because that's not what I do here in the audio format, just when I'm just talking about current events. So when I do start interviewing people, if the internet starts internet, and it won't be because of a question I asked. But so that's not what the Narrative Podcast is about. One more misnomer about it. This isn't a space where I'm seeking validation or caring about what people outside of our culture think about us. That's beyond my control. That's beyond our control. If we want to keep it 1,000, you can't control how another person perceives you as, but what you can control is, what message you're projecting. And that's all I'm trying to do here in this space is, bring awareness that we have the power to put out the message that we want to say. Like, we don't have to be these negative stereotypes that they say we are. So that's it, and that's all. If I glazed over anything, or if I missed anything, or if you're still a little bit unclear, I'm over 300 episodes in, so you can Google me, the Narrator Podcast, and catch up on the Narrator Podcast and just kind of absorb what my format is for yourself. If you feel like my synopsis wasn't, broad enough or covering enough, to tell you what the podcast is about. But speaking of that, just remember to download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. There are many other podcasts titled the Narrator Podcast, but this is the only one that actually matters. The one hosted by me, Halsey Allen, the Narrator Podcast. So now that we've been brought up to speed, without any further ado, I'm going to dive into the content today on the Narrator Podcast with my very first section of the Narrator Podcast. So my first section of the Narrator Podcast is the highlight section. And in this section, what I'm doing is I'm highlighting businesses owned and operated by original people. And the reason why I'm doing that is because we don't have a lot of frames of references to reference about, entrepreneurialism or, ownership. And the very few references that we do have is unfortunately tainted with degeneracy, because they come to us via scripted reality television shows. And the producers on those shows, it's their goal to make us look unintelligent, make us appear degenerate in nature, for the ratings. So like on these scripted reality television shows, you won't see the brilliance of the people on the show, because it's usually like people of our elites, that are high in the higher echelon, far as like, financially, like people earning like 5 and 6 figures, and have many people under their umbrella, employing many people, and having a whole lot of businesses under their umbrella. But all the takeaway from the scripted reality television show that you see them in, all you take away as a viewer is, them acting a fool, them fighting amongst each other, backstabbing each other, doing drugs on camera, having sex on camera, just behaving like nobody, attempted to give them any type of decorum or home training. So that's what the images that they want to project about our people on shows like that. So here on the Narrator Podcast, number one, this is an audio platform, so I don't have that type of issue to deal with. Basically, I sidestep it by just highlighting the high points of an entrepreneur's journey. I'm walking you through, an entrepreneur, how they, started their own business, like everything they encountered, starting their own business, how they came up with the name, the brand, what it means, their business philosophy, how they came up with the capital to start the business, why they start the business. I'm just walking you through an entrepreneur's journey to become independent, and putting out the positive frame of reference that we can do for self and be dependent without having to, rely on a 9-to-5 job or government assistance. Because that's all we see on television. is, us not making it, or, us being in a degenerate state. We can have dignity, decorum, and class while pursuing a path to independence. We don't have to, shuck and jive to be business owners. So that's what I'm doing here in the highlight section of the Narrative Podcast. I'm walking you through an entrepreneur's journey. So some other qualifying factors on how I select the businesses to highlight in the highlight section here on the Narrative Podcast is, like, number one, of course, they're owned and operated by original people, from the top to the bottom. They can have, some of them have, corporate sponsors and silent business partners who are not original men and women. Like, there might be an Asian business partner, there might be a white business partner, but essentially the business and the brand is theirs. They might have some outside entities that put up the money, but essentially, the business is theirs. Another qualifying factor for the businesses that I choose to highlight is they do some type of philanthropy, some type of giving back to the community. They hire their own, they either have their own nonprofit organization or they pay into one. They do some type of community outreach, something to impact the community that their business is rooted in, such as, maybe they provide financial literacy, maybe they, do things for the youth, do things for the elderly, do things for the disenfranchised, like the homeless or the hungry or whatever. They do some type of outreach, some type of giving back. And last but not least, they align up with my theme. And I've been doing the seasons, but lately I've been doing, nationally recognized holidays. So, that's my last qualifying factor, is they align up with my theme. And so this week's theme is, nationally recognized holiday. And today is March 30th. And so the national recognized holiday that I wanted to fixate on was National Pencil Day. So the businesses that I will be highlighting this week here on the Narrative Podcast are businesses that sell pencils. So I didn't really find any original people owned and operated businesses that sell exclusively just pencils, like just a pencil company that just sells, pencils, like colored pencils and whatever. But I'll be highlighting stationery supply companies that sell like everything, like planners, anything you would need in the office, paper clips, planners, but, of course, pencils, because it's pencil day. So like everything that I'll be highlighting, they sell a whole gamut of things, but they definitely sell pencils, pens, but they're selling the item that I'm focusing on. And the item that I'm focusing on this week is pencils, because that's the nationally recognized holiday that I chose to focus on this week, is the observance of National Pencil Day. So the first business I'll be highlighting today in the highlight section of the Narrative Podcast is Entrepreneurs Color 2. Entrepreneurs Colors 2 was established in 2017 by a sister by the name of Latoya Nicole. She launched her own coloring book series because she noticed there wasn't any coloring books to, speak in volumes to her people, that represented hers. No coloring books, artwork with our features, or, if it's just like scenery, or if it's just like, things in nature or animals or whatever, like you color with, there's no like representation of our people. That's basically why she started the business. So basically, her brand is kind of like art therapy. A lot of places use art therapy these days. People that have been highly traumatized in the area of their life, whether it's, eating or substance abuse or stress, anxiety, whatever, like art form is like a form of relaxation, a form of mental health, if you will. So that's what her business is kind of focuses on, is the mental health of, delivering that release of art therapy. So when you go on the website, you will notice all of her own coloring books that she released. She's also got some of books, actual books that she's written on her website. But of course, she sells the featured item of the day, pencils. So she sells pencils, pens, stickets, post-it notes, thumbtacks and all that. Post-its and anything, like any type of office supply type of accessory you would need, in addition to her, therapeutic coloring books for adults. She sells pencils as well. So, without any further ado, please give a warm Narrative Podcast round of applause to our sister, entrepreneur, Latoya Nicole, for Entrepreneur's Color 2. All right, I usually have 2 to 3. I usually have 3 or 4 businesses to highlight in the highlight section on the Narrative Podcast, but I don't this week because, honestly, they're just all the stuff, the stationery companies that I was looking up really kind of only, did journals or folders, like paper products, but not really pencils. A whole lot of them didn't have, pencils or nothing to write with. So, that kind of took away from the theme of this week. So I could only find 2 to keep up with my theme for this week, which is the observed National Pencil Day. So without any further ado, the last business I will be highlighting today on the highlight section of the Narrative Podcast is a business called Brown Aspirations. Brown Aspirations was founded in 2018 by a sister by the name of by a sister by the name of Beth Adams. So like I said, the focal point of her business is journals. She basically started her business for the same reason the other sister that I covered in the previous section started her business. There just wasn't any representation for journaling. Say what you will. Our sisters are organized. I don't know too many sisters that don't journal. Like, they write down their thoughts. They plan. Like, I don't know too many sisters that don't have a planner, either a digital one or an actual like analog journal that they just jot notes and all kinds of stuff. But I don't even know when it shifted to just taking like race off the table. I don't even know when journaling shifted to females, because journaling used to be a guy thing. Like, guys used to write in journals, girls used to always do diaries. So I don't know what point in the time did it shift. Is that what the people be talking about, Mandela effect? When did females just get like super linear and start journaling? But anyway, that's what her business focuses on, is selling journals. But of course, for her accessories, she also sells pens and pencils too, and other office supplies, because it's a stationery company. And if you want to find out more about it, you can go to brownaspirations.com. And the sister's name again is Beth Adams. And that'll do it for this week's highlight section here on the Narrator Podcast. Let me check back in my notes. Yeah, I did. I forgot to give you the email address for Entrepreneurs Color 2. But I probably glazed over it because everything's just .com. But if you want to find out more about Entrepreneurs Color 2, go to entrepreneurscolor2.com. And then also both businesses advertise on Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, and I believe both of them also have LinkedIn accounts. So, either one of those mediums, you can find out more about each of the products. Another little misnomer about the highlight section this week. Usually when I deliver the highlight section, like I said, I'm trying to walk you through an entrepreneur's journey. I usually find information like, where they attended school, if they went to school, how they grew up, their childhood, what year, and what, school, what was the school like, and all that. But sometimes it's just straight to the point, and this is one of them weeks where it was straight to the point. But anyway, that'll do it for the highlight section on the Narrative Podcast, and on to my next section, which is the Spotlight section. The Spotlight section is a section in my program where I'm basically providing the positive frame of reference of positive reinforcement. Because it's not that we don't do it online in the past. I got to correct myself. I fell into the trap. Brother Halsey, I ain't perfect either. So, one thing we have to do as a people, we have to stop accepting negative stereotypes and stigmas placed over us. I've been duped into believing that we are the only group of people that get messy online. We are the only making all these generalized statements about our people. We're the only group of people that don't congratulate each other online, don't appreciate each other and value each other. And that's just not true. But that's basically what the spotlight section is about here on the Narrator Podcast. I'm basically congratulating a brother or a sister for something admirable that they're doing that's impacting the community in a positive way, whether it's some type of philanthropy, whether it's some type of advocacy or social activism, or, speaking, using your platform responsibly to speak on our issues, or, just represent our people in a positive light. That's, what I do on the spotlight section here on the Narrative Podcast. Basically just give a person doing something positive the roses while they're here. When I first started doing it, I used to exclusively do it for entertainers, people in the entertainment industry, such as like actors, actresses, comedians, public figures, YouTubers, TikTokers, social media influencers, what have you, anybody with a polarizing public platform. I also spotlighted religious figures as well. Since then I kind of fell back from spotlighting entertainers because I didn't want to, fall into the negative stereotype that all we know how to do is entertain. So as of late, probably since over the summer, I've been, since probably like June, I've been highlighting just, regular people who are, change makers, using their platform in a positive way to represent our people. So, not for nothing, something that I must point out every single time I do the spotlight section here on the Narrative Podcast. Your brother Halsey Allen started the wave for spotlighting. Because before I added the spotlight section to my podcast, the Narrative Podcast, nobody was spotlighting anybody. Now, every time you hear the word spotlight, somebody's doing an interview. This week, we'll be spotlighting, this person will be spotlighting this, that, etc., da-da-da. If you do the research, you do the history, nobody was spotlighting nobody. And so I started the trend of spotlighting. If we're going off statistics, the numbers would suggest I don't, but people listen to this podcast. I'm really affluent in this digital space that I'm in. I notice people using all my nuances, stuff I say here on this podcast. The way I say certain things on my podcast is just kind of imitated on several platforms. So even though they're not, coming right out and say they mess with me or mess with my podcast, the sentiment is definitely there because, number one, you're spotlighting. And then number two, I know when you're being watched, you ain't bugging when somebody is, obviously, imitating you to some capacity. And I'm getting imitated in a good way because what I'm doing here on this platform is something positive. I want our people to responsibly utilize our platforms to, basically give each other positive reinforcement rather than tearing each other down online and getting messy online. So the fact that so many people are now spotlighting, that's an indicator that, they're listening to the Narrative Podcast, they're listening to me, and, they're listening to my content. And that makes me feel good because, as the old saying goes, imitation is the best form of flattery. So for all the people who are now open, actively, and affluently spotlighting, that makes me feel real good. Because, I started that trend and, that's the direction I want our people to go in, positive, never negative. We need to always just, build each other up, not tear each other down. So, yeah, Halsey Allen on the Narrative Podcast started the trend for spotlighting. You're welcome.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In a real way. All right, so this week, I've been gone, y'all, for a couple weeks. So I'm coming back. I actually have two people to spotlight. Because on the spotlight section, I try to do, a male and a female to deliver the spotlight section. Every week, like 1 week I do a male and then the next week I do a female. So I've been gone several weeks. I couldn't remember, who was the last person I spotlighted before I took my little break. But what I did get fortunate enough to find is, two people. It's a married couple, actually. So it's a brother and a sister doing something positive for something, positive and impactful for our community with a program that they created together as husband and wife. And then I got another, person I want to spotlight. It's a sister on the website, but for some odd reason, her name's not on it, but it is founded by a sister. I did some digging. I forgot to write it down in my notes. If I find it, I try to broadcast 2 times during the week. If I find her name, I will, big her name up, but I forgot to write, her name down in the notes, but I'm going to go with my first spotlight this week here on the Narrative Podcast. This is a Narrative Podcast first. So it's actually 3 people I'm spotlighting. Well, the first one really counts as one because it's a husband and wife duo, and then the other one is a sister. So I'm spotlighting 2 people this week. But I usually only spotlight one. So yeah, for the spotlight section, this week my first spotlight goes to a husband and wife team, Mrs. Tammy Martin and her husband, John Martin Sr. And I'm giving them the spotlight because they founded a nonprofit organization that helps youth find their voice and changes their trajectory in life. And the name of the program is called Young Black Leadership Alliance. And if you want to find out more about it, go to yola.org. It's Yola in all caps, YOLA.org. Org isn't in all caps. Org is in lowercase letters, but Yola is in all caps. So it's yola.org. And Tammy's background story is she was in health administrations before starting the business or starting a nonprofit. Actually, a nonprofit kind of is a business because, like, here's a tip for you entrepreneurs out there. If you start your own business, whatever it is, go get you a 501c. And then when you start your business, after you got your nonprofit, you know, that's a tax write-off for your business because you can use profits from your business to donate to your nonprofit. So essentially, like you're getting a tax write-off for paying yourself, and just keep your receipts. But that was just a little nugget. But it's a nonprofit organization that helps at-risk youth within our community change their trajectory. They have all kinds of programs. Tammy was originally in healthcare professional in the healthcare industry. She was born and raised in North Carolina. She was got a degree in occupational therapy, occupational therapy, and a master's degree in health administration. So that's some really good money. Health administration, like really good benefits. A whole lot of women get into that. I would only say the downside about that business is the hours and the people, because people come to that hospital counter frantic. They don't never have the information most of the time together, the insurance card or all that, and you got to enter all that into the computer. But she did that for 15 to 20 years, and on the website, what basically she says inspired her was their children. She wanted a better life for them, and on the website it's implied that they are of the Christian faith, because like every other sentence in the bio is God told them to do something positive. So that's what they did, is do something positive. So that's I'm just giving you a brief synopsis of the bio for the nonprofit organization. That's what it in the about section says for her story. Now, for his story, he was basically like an educator and on several boards similar to the program that they created. So he was already doing that type of stuff. He was doing several different nonprofit organizations, African American Male Task Force, and on the male leadership board. I didn't write all his accolades because, like I said, several different. He was on like over 10 different nonprofit organization board of directors. So that's really good money too, for those that don't know. Like if you don't have your own nonprofit organization, when they hire people for jobs to be on the board of directors, it's usually like a five-figure salary gig. But not that you should be in that type of work just for the money. Like you should be like doing nonprofit organization because you actually care about the cause that you're taking up. But these two definitely care about the children. You can go to the website and see the different programs that they have available for their children. Yeah, so they have like 3 programs. One program is called Ambassadors. Another program is called Black Talent Pipeline, and then another program is called Yo Pro. So the ambassadors program is about basically helping young people prepare for a college education, like how to do their, study for their SATs and all that. Administration, getting accepted into colleges, writing their, letters to the colleges, petitioning the colleges for the traditional 4-year ones, and bare minimum requirements, giving them something to put, for extracurricular activity on the college application, community service part of it. They receive comprehensive leadership training. They engage local and international community service projects, and embark on transformative travel experiences worldwide. So they travel as well. So they go to different lectures and do things in the community. So that's good. That's that program, their ambassadors program. And then they got another program called Black Talent Pipeline. Now that gets them, once they've gotten to college, helps them go get internships and full-time jobs. It teaches them skills, of course, resume writing and, making cold calls, how to dress appropriately, helping you balance your schedule, your college schedule, and your internship and or job after the internship, how to balance both worlds. And basically, that program is designed to give them one leg up on the career. And then last but not least, they got a Yo Pro program, which is more geared towards being your own boss. It teaches them marketing. It teaches them branding, marketing, how to utilize social media platforms to grow your, network and build your brand. So they teach brand building, networking, how to secure funds to fund your business, how to build wealth. So they teach financial literacy, probably like stock investing, investing. So stock exchange investing, pretty much that movers and shakers world. That's what they're teaching with that program. But like I said, good program, good people, founders for the program, teaching our youth to, change their trajectory in life and reach for the stars. So, once again, to find out more about Tammy and her husband, John, just go to yola.org and, click that About section. But that's why they're getting the spotlights this week on the spotlight section of the Narrative Podcast. So let's clap it up for our brother John and his wife Tammy and their program, Young Black Leadership Alliance. All right, so the second spotlight This is the Narrative Podcast first. I've never given 2 spotlights in 1 week, but this is a really good program. I forgot to write the sister's name down in the notes, but this is basically a single parent mother that came up with this program. And what makes it unique is, we very rarely see anything for young men, like, young sisters, young original women. They have a plethora of programs, young ladies like Young Lionesses, Black Girl Magic, Black Girls Rock. You don't really see any programs that groom a young man to be a king. That's to be the head of his household. But this is a program put together by a woman because she has a son. She's a single parent mom. There was a lot of unalivings going on in the neighborhood where she resides. She resides in California. So if it isn't the police unaliving young original men, it's gangs unaliving other original men. So the life expectancy of a young original king isn't long in that part of California that she's located in. So, she wanted to create a program to change a young man's perspective and outlook and trajectory in life. So, he'll be less susceptible to join the gang and be, carry himself more prideful and move and navigate through life with a sense of urgency, manage his emotions and be a king. And ironically, the name of the program that she started is called Our Kings. And if you want to know more about it, go to ourkings.com. Yes, it's called I apologize. I said ourkings.com. It's ourkings.org. So it's a nonprofit in California. The physical address is 1741 East Lake Parkway, Street 102, PMB 1155, Chula Vista, California 91915. Or you can contact them directly at hello@ourkings.com. And then they also have a contact form. She's trying to network with other mothers, but the program is for young men, so I don't think she would be opposed. If you're a man and you want to do something positive in the community, if you want to donate or be of service. And she got some really good programs. They do field trips and outings. They got a program called Jordan's Journal. It's a 3-week literature program that takes place in person and online. It's a 3-part program. You meet 2 times. The participants meet 2 times a week. They'll learn about poets. And that's another unique thing about the website. She actually has a quote of Tupac on the website. And so, in addition to being an artist, he was a poet too. So, it chronicles Jordan's journal, poetry, storytellers, and black culture. So that's a good program. And then they got another program where they're teaching young men vocational skills training. So they're going to be picking up a skilled trade. And it could be anything they want to. It's of their choice. So it can be automotives, it can be computers, but it'll definitely be something with a high pay grade. And I've said it once, I've said it all again. We need our own schools at every grade level, and we also need our own vocational training centers in our own community colleges as well, not just our own, HBCUs or traditional college. We need our own community college and our own vocational skills training facilities as well. And then they also have tutors available for school too. They teach them self-esteem, self-care. They teach them how to tie a tie, male grooming, So even though women put this together, this is still a pretty solid program. And Kings is actually an acronym. It stands for kind, intelligent, noble, gifted sons of queens. So I like that. I like that concept a lot. Because like I said, we don't have a lot for our young men. We have a whole lot of stuff for the young ladies. They got all kinds of movement. They got Black Girl Magic and lioness clubs and STEM and all that. We don't really got too much for the young men. So if you're in the state of California and you want to help out, you want to know more about the program, how you can be how you can help it out, or if you have a male sibling or a relative or somebody in the neighborhood that needs some guidance or mentorship in that area of California, refer them to this program, Our Kings, and it's at ourkings.org. So once again, her name isn't listed on the site. I did find it, but I forgot to put it in the notes. But go to ourkings.org and join me into giving this sister a warm narrative podcast round of applause for starting this program. Help her keep it going, y'all. All right, moving right along. The next section of the Narrator podcast is the health and wellness section. And in this section, what I'm doing is I'm giving health and wellness tips for our people. And by our people, I mean original people, to sustain a healthy, active, fit lifestyle. Why do I have a health and wellness section on this podcast? Is because my people, original people, are the most at-risk people from being unalived by some type of circumstance. And What do I mean? Our people is being targeted. We are being attacked mentally, physically, and spiritually. So in the health and wellness section here on the Narrative Podcast, I'm giving health and wellness tips to armor up in all the areas that my people are being attacked. I want to do a small disclaimer. Now, my podcast is for anybody to listen to. I don't care what background you come from, what your nationality is, what your ethnicity is, whatever your pronoun is, however you identify yourself, race, whatever. But just know the demographic for my podcast is original people. And especially this section. And I already told you why. Because our people is being targeted by the powers that be. They're trying to wipe us off the planet by any means necessary. They're putting things in our, our air, our food, our water, everyday grooming products, you name it, that directly affects our unique genetic makeup. On the mental side of it, they're, weaponizing the media against us. They're giving us, poor self-view of ourselves. They're, subliminally implanting things into our minds, spiritually. And this really gets me for religious people that say, I don't see color. We're all the same. Okay, if we're all the same, then why do we worship God in a different way? Especially what's going on, what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow is Easter. I defy you. Go to a black church on Easter Sunday, and then go to a white church and see how different we are, how similar we are, how God don't see color, how similar are we? Go to a black church on Sunday, Easter Sunday, then go to a white church, then go to a Spanish church, then go to a Roman Catholic church, Italian church, go to an Irish church, whatever denomination they are. If we're all just one, then how come we have all these, differences, all these denominations, all these different ways we look at life and view, religion and spirituality? Because we're not the same. What would keep you healthy and active and fit would not keep me healthy, active and fit. I couldn't eat your diet every day. You couldn't eat my diet every day. I can't pray to your God. I can't praise and worship the way you praise and worship. Whether you're Muslim, whether you're Christian, whether you're whatever, whatever your spiritual discipline is, it's not going to be, it's not going to be beneficial for me. So my people were an original people. On the physical side of it, the sun strengthens us and nourishes us, heals our body. Whereas other people that do not look like us, the sun hurts them. Makes the skin peel and flake and their skin to become inflamed and irritated, and in some cases even become cancerous. So we're not the same. So get off that we're all the same jazz. We're not the same. And it's not being cruel. It's just it's being astute. It's being scientific. It's being realistic. We're not the same. The things that are helpful to you and improve your quality of life won't be helpful to me and improve my quality of life. So we are all different as beings living here, either with, in this space that we're in. We have to acknowledge and respect each other's differences, we're different people, and, especially here in this section on the Narrator podcast, health and wellness section. So, I usually it's just like what it sounds like. I give health and wellness tips. So like an example of a physical health tip, because I told you all the areas that we're being attacked. I usually give the health benefits of a vegetable, plant, root, herb, or extract that you can ingest or apply topically to improve your physical health, or some type of physical exercise you can perform to, keep yourself sustained and in peak physical condition. Or on the mental side of it, things that affect our people mentally, being aware of our emotional triggers, things that you can exercises that you can perform to stay in good mental health. Things to avoid that will trigger, your mental triggers. How to control your emotions, meditation, mindful breathing, being aware of your emotions. You know what I'm saying? I give you those types of tips and techniques. And then on the spiritual side of it, spiritual practices and techniques that you can incorporate to have a healthy spiritual life and become spiritually aware and spiritually in tune to what's going on around you and inside of you. So that makes sense. So now that you know what the health and wellness section of the Narrator podcast is all about, let me get straight to it. Today's health and wellness tip is it's a physical day. So I'll be speaking about the health benefits of an avocado. Avocados are in season right now. They're chock full of health benefits. They're rich in vitamin C, E, and K, B6. They improve heart functions. They're good for your vision. They improve your vision. Promotes healthy bones. Helps fight against osteoporosis. They have a good natural cholesterol. They have good fats. We got good cholesterol, bad cholesterol, healthy fats and unhealthy fats. Avocado is they have healthy fats. They also help battle depression. They're good for your hair, skin, and nails. Within men, it boosts the libido. Within women, it helps regulate and control your menstrual cycle. So do yourself a tremendous favor and incorporate some avocado into your diet. It's a highly sustainable food source. It comes with a seed, a pit. You can eat all of it. The outer skin doesn't taste very good, but if you grind it up, you can eat that too. The pit is where all the health benefits lie. That's the healthiest part of it. So dehydrate that, grind it up. You can mix it in teas, smoothies, or your water, drinking water. Or plant it and grow some more avocado. But whatever you do, get yourself some avocado in your diet. And make sure when you're purchasing avocado at the grocery store, make sure you're grabbing the 9 on the sticker when you read it. Make sure it has a 9 on it. 9 is the universal code for organically grown, organically sourced. Anything under 9 is contains pesticide, is either partially genetically modified or all genetically modified. So when you're getting your produce and your veggies, your fruit, your produce at the store, make sure you're always looking for that number 9. All right, on to the next section of the Narrator podcast. This next section is called My Speaking Point. For those that tuned in on Thursday, my speaking point basically is where I'm addressing what's going on in the news. Pretty much it's just like current events. I'm covering current events. That's it and that's all. And the reason why I do that, I think I said that at the beginning of the podcast. This is just me telling our story because the media tells our story for us. And if history hasn't taught us anything, it's taught us this. If you don't tell your own story will be told for you. So, whatever is going on in the world, globally, nationally, or within our community, I break that down, from our perspective and weigh in on it and talk on that. So, yeah, that's the point of my speaking points section of the Narrative podcast. So it shouldn't be no surprise what I'm going to be talking about. I did say I was going to do a part 2 to what's going on with Brother Sean Combs. I'm not going to really do a deep dive. The only new thing about it is he's been spotted in Florida walking around in Miami. Surfaces, photos of him have been surfacing on the internet, him and Stevie J walking around in Florida. I'm basically just clarifying my point and my position on it. This whole situation is very divisive, and I hate when things transpire like that within our community because, number one, it's the distraction. That's number one, first and foremost, because when stuff like that is happening within our community, something bigger in the world is happening, something we need to be focusing on and paying attention on. Case in point, the Boston Bridge situation. That happened. Another one, Trump got a gag order placed on him while all this Diddy stuff is going on, and more stuff than that has happened in the world. And if you join me on Thursday, also, we almost had another government shutdown just last week, on the 24th. If they didn't, if the bipartisan House didn't agree on how to, what branches of the government get the money, we was going to go into a full government shutdown. So that was happening while everybody's worried about Diddy. But I just wanted to just like clarify my stance for my speaking point today. That's really the only thing I got to talk about, or I feel like talking about. There's all kinds of, things happening in the world and things happening within our community. But this is like still like supernova viral, and it's really kind of shaking our community apart. We're divided. Like over on the one side, got one side angry. He's a this and he's a that, and he deserves everything he get. He did this and then he did that. And then on the other side, the side I'm on, whether I'm just, looking at this, subjectively, and just looking at logic, and looking at what, the powers that be that say, the way the law is supposed to work, it's supposed to be guilty or innocent to proven guilty. But how the social media is going, how the world is now, you're guilty if you're found guilty in the public court of opinions. Like on social media, if like social media says you're guilty, then you're guilty. And then let us not forget how the RICO law even came to pass. The RICO law came to pass to oppress our people. It's basically like, somebody can say you're conspiring or, conspiring to do something with two or more people. So if I meet a brother, we sitting down, if I bump into a brother like back in the day when, in that time era, if I just met somebody I didn't know and we were just chopping it up, we sitting at the table chopping it up, but then like a white person sees us, enjoying each other's company, talking, chopping it up, they feel threatened, they call the police. Police comes by, they book us for conspiracy. Conspiracy to what? Conspiracy could be anything. They don't know what we're talking about, but, we're conspiring to do something. I know I made it sound way out there, but it's not way out there. That's like legit, how our law enforcement works. They'll do whatever they want to you when they get ready to do it to you too. So on the one side, I understand, everybody's who is saying, he's filth and he's scum and he did this and that. Like, I get the frustration. Like, because I know he is very wealthy. And, when you got enough money, you can get away with pretty much anything in this country. You can pay people off. You can make people's lives a living hell. If you got enough money to do that, to meddle in people's lives and mess with people, if you got enough money and free time and hate yourself that much because to do the things that people are alleging he did, that's self-hate. You hate yourself so bad, you don't want to see nobody else happy. That's like kind of like a God complex. I'm going to crush you like an ant because I got some money. So I get where that frustration is coming from. But then, you have to pull it into perspective, and you can't not being an original man and an original woman living here in United States of America. We can't, as a people, sit up here and say, he's being railroaded like that's outside of the realm of possibility. Yes. The police can make up anything they want to make up about you. We've seen this movie, like we just went through this with Bill Cosby. So yes, I believe, like some people in his case, like a whole lot of them women that made the allegations, I believe a whole lot of them were telling the truth. But we have to look at legal. Did they have the legal leg to stand on when they made, hold on, drum roll, please, allegations? And how our law is set up here in the United States of America, there's a law called, probability. It has to be more likely than not before, the police or in any other organizations can take action. And none of the allegations have been proven true. He settled out of court with Cassie. So for all my legal beagles out there, y'all know, just because somebody settles doesn't mean they don't believe, they don't think they can win in the court of law. They're not doubting their ability to win. It's a convenience thing when you get a settlement. This is just like, if money will make this go away, give them some money. Because I don't feel like sitting up in court all day. Just like when a not guilty verdict comes up. Every time somebody's found not guilty of something, doesn't necessarily mean they didn't do it. They just didn't have enough evidence to bring them to justice. So we have to be, open-minded and, look at it all. We can't be one-dimensional in this. And we do, as a people, we have to keep a united front. Because everybody's so quick to offer our brother up. And yeah, I'm calling him our brother. I don't know this man. I don't want nothing from him. My personal opinion of him, I personally believe that, he's attracted to men off of what I've seen on the internet and, music videos and how he carries himself, his mannerisms and, calling grown men daddy and always licking on his lips. Don't know just fully heterosexual male act how Mr. Combs acts. Like, if we're going to talk about it, talk about it. But that's not what's on trial here. That's not what's on trial here. The trial of what's on trial here is the allegations of sex trafficking and human trafficking. That's, what they're trying to find. And it hasn't been found. No receipts have come up. It's just people online saying a whole bunch of stuff. And anybody can say something about somebody. Just because somebody says something doesn't necessarily make it true. I can say, I'm God. Hey, I'm God. I change the day and the night right now. Just because I said it, is it true? So he does deserve a benefit of a doubt. That's all I was saying with my synopsis. He does deserve a benefit of a doubt. When you're a celebrity, they love you one day, they hate you one day. All that goes out the wayside when it's convenient for him. And it's really convenient to make him the bad guy right now because he is obscenely rich. And he's been obscenely rich for over 2 decades. So it's easy to make him the bad guy because he's so detached from our community. He lives in his own little bubble. So it's easy to blame him for everything. And I'm not taking up for anything, everybody's alleging he did. I think like if it's true, it's disgusting, and if he's brought to justice and he goes through the jurisprudence, they say guilty, he deserves every bit of it. And in my opinion, jail would be too good for a monster like that. He should just be made to suffer. If it's true. And that's the one thing ain't nobody saying if and but. They're saying he did it. They're saying that, if he wasn't there, if you didn't see it, then you don't know. They trying to find something. Now, I do want to make a little retraction. I said the feds kicked in. It was Homeland Security, and Homeland Security basically is like they handle domestic stuff. It is the federal government, but then it's not. It's more on the what was it? I think it's administrative, legislative. They're more on the legislative part of it. If I got my branches of government down right, I know it's like administrative, legislative, federal. Let me see. I had it off after legislative, executive, and judicial. So they're more on the executive side of it, the Homeland Security. But fun fact, like the Homeland Security used to investigate minors all the time when the emergence of computers came in, like in the early 80s when we had all these whiz kids on the computer. They sitting up there getting in the files and stuff. And they didn't know like the internet really wasn't. This is like when you had to key enter all the data to make it look at the files. This is before like graphic user interface, when you had to like crunch on the keyboard to make the computer do stuff. Homeland Security was always investigating homes for a breach in security because a child just unknowingly done hacked into something. So does Homeland Security even need a search warrant? No, they do not. They don't need a warrant. They can come in your house anytime they get ready to. Matter of fact, watch this movie. There's an old school flick called Electric Dreams. Go watch that. That's just like about this computer. It takes sentient. It comes alive. With everything that's going on with computers right now, just to see what I'm saying, like back in the day when, like late 70s, early 80s, 82, 83, 84, when, these like bored kids was just sitting at home, messing with stuff, hacking into files and stuff. Like Homeland Security would roll out and investigate that when they was finding breaches. But anyway, that's all I was really saying. I don't know why everybody's so angry at him and why they don't want to conceive that the government is setting him up, making him the scapegoat for a lot of things that he didn't do. Because, we can't, as a people, really sit up here and act like our government don't do stuff like that. When literally every single organization that we created to help our people, they infiltrated and, unalived leaders, manipulated power struggles, circulated all kinds of false information to get what they wanted. And what do they want? The downfall and destruction of all of us. They want to knock us over like dominoes. And they do that to prominent people within our community who have the power to bring order to the chaos they created. Now, everybody loved Nipsey Hussle. They love Nipsey Hussle. We all love Nipsey Hussle, right? Like he stood on the square. He stood on business for our community, right? Right? We all love Nipsey Hussle. Go back and punch up all Nipsey Hussle's old interviews. Guess who Nipsey Hussle is referencing in all his old interviews about teaching him about the industry that he was in and how to negotiate to get more money for his brand. Guess who he is referencing? Puffy. So yeah, the government will want to take down somebody that's teaching people free game. So I can't sit up here and argue with artists that had business dealings with the guy and feel like he jerked them or whatever out of their publishing or whatever. I don't know. But what I do know is all the good things that he's done in our community and the people that he has helped, that has went on to become megastars and went from living in the hood to six figures now. That's what I do know. And like, if you are really honest with yourself, if you're an honest person, like, you can see it too. If you just take emotion out of it, take your emotion out of it and look at just like the black and white transparency, like the facts, because the facts ain't adding up. They're saying he's the boogeyman in Hollywood. He's getting all these little kids. He's getting all these men. And staying true to what I do here on the Narrative podcast is the why. So everybody likes to talk about the things that happened, but why did that happen? If he is the boogeyman, if he's the booty man in Hollywood, if he's the booty goon of Hollywood, then how did he become the booty goon of Hollywood? Hanging around people outside of our culture, absorbing their way of life. Because he didn't start getting weird until he became fixated with European culture, till he started going over there to Paris, till he started hanging out, being in these rooms with these elite people, doing what they do. But then they don't want you in the elite club. They don't want you to have the same amount of money they have. They don't want you to have the same amount of power they have. So, like, when they feel like you're getting more, when you're becoming more influential than they are, they get rid of you. When they view you as a threat, he can possibly, overtake me in social status, they get rid of you. And for our strong soldiers, people that pass the litmus test, they don't have no weaknesses to exploit. They can't call them a drug addict. They can't call them a child molester. They can't call them a homosexual. For people like that, we done seen what they do. They unalive people like that. But to Diddy, he got a lot of vices and weaknesses to exploit, and they're exploiting every single last one of them. So that's all. I'm not defending him. I'm just merely stating, it's not outside of the realm of possibility. It could be, they setting them up. Now, is he mostly responsible for himself being set up? In my opinion, I feel he effed around and found out. He rattled some cages. But we've seen him do it to everybody. We've seen him do it to Cat Williams. Remember they took his children away too? Huh? They don't take people's kids away? They try to get to them? So, like, whatever side are you on, whether you believe he did it, whether you believe he didn't do it, whether you're indifferent, my only thing I was trying to bring to the table is let's stop letting silly foolishness like that divide us as a people, because it's all divisive. It's all divisive. It's just meant to cause confusion. It's meant to distract us away from poignant, relevant things we need to worry about in real time. Because whatever happens, he's going to be good. If he goes to jail, he's good. If he stays out, he's good. As long as they don't unalive him, he's going to be good. And another thing, I'm kind of tired of people, all the content creators, this is the end of Diddy. His empire is crumbling. He's losing this. He's losing. You don't know what the hell he's losing. You don't know how much money this guy really, really got. Stop counting his pockets. Stop buying problems that he don't have. You speaking negativity over him. You don't know if he's going to beat this thing or not. Now, if he comes out unscathed and has his time to tell his side of the story, then what? You want to be sitting up there with your mouth open looking dumb because he made you look dumb because you're saying dumb shit? Pardon my language. And again, I'm not caping for him. I'm just saying it's a possibility. You know, the powers that be are setting them up. That's all. That's all other people are saying too. They share the same perspective that I'm sharing. That's it. Yeah, it's really all I was trying to point out was everybody's hypocrisy and how we turn on each other like jackals. How this social media got us turning on each other for jackals, like jackals, excuse me, and for nothing. Like, you know, we don't all have to agree with each other, but we should all respect each other. We should be keeping our in-house issues. Now, if this man did all these deviant sexual acts, he will be punished for it. You cannot escape energy. He might dodge the legal ramifications of it, but he'll never escape it. He's going to see, like, if he did all these things, he's going to see all them faces when he goes to sleep every single night. He's never going to get a moment's rest. Like, you know, from the outside looking in, when you look at financially wealthy people, like super rich people, you see the big old house, you see the nice cars, but you don't know if they crying themselves to sleep every night. So if this dude did all that nasty, grotesque things that people are alleging he did, he's living in hell already. You don't need to get on social media and pour gasoline on the fire. Like, you know what I mean? I ain't trying to police nobody's viewpoint or perspective, but I'm over like us, like doing the white man's job and stomping each other out online. Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, he's down. They got him. Why everybody doing all these memes and skits? And it's just too much, bruh. It's just too much, and we need to stop doing that for real. Like, if you feel he did it, stand on your truth, live your truth. If you feel he did it, live it. You know what I'm saying? Like, do whatever you need to do to make it set right with you for him doing something that doesn't directly affect you. I mean, it does directly affect all of us because he victimized people. Anybody, it's not right to victimize anybody, you know, outside of our community, just a person in general. Like, no person got the right to do that to another person. But I'm saying, like, it hasn't been proven true, and we do know the ops, how they play. They will plant evidence. They will make people say stuff that aren't true just to get their man, just to build their case, and they've done it. They got a history of doing it to our people, and that's everybody else's opinion that's similar to my opinion. That's all we're saying. Like we're not gonna act like they don't play dirty pool like that. They do play dirty pool. But as far as him actually doing this stuff, I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility, but I'm not going to call nobody else, go out of my way to call somebody stupid for not seeing my perspective. We sitting up there arguing and calling each other out in our names, for having different perspectives on this situation. And it's just like, that's crazy. Because whatever the outcome, he gonna be all right. If he's guilty, he gonna be all right. If he's innocent, if he's found guilty, he gonna be all right. If he's found innocent, he gonna be all right. You know what I mean? So like, what are you as a person, what are you doing as a content creator? Like, how are you impacting the world? Either or. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was like bringing to the table with my assertion about this whole, debacle. I wish the brother the best. To the alleged victim's family, I hope they, get the clarity and the closure they need to move forward in life. But being in the social media, they can't have clarity and closure because people keep on sitting up there online talking about it. Opening the womb back up. But yeah, though, like silly, petty nonsense like this divide us as a people. We need to just, whatever it is, we need to keep a united front and, deal with our in-house issues better. I know, like, there's an exception to the rule, and his situation is definitely an exception to the rule because he is who he is. He has access to what he has access to, and, like, if he was guilty of doing all these things, it ain't right. But at the same time, you can't not say it could be a setup just because the way you emotionally feel. We got to go out off of facts. We got to go off black and white. What receipts are they producing to, cement their claim that he did X, Y, and Z? There ain't no actual witnesses other than Cassidy that came forward. They ain't produced none of these sex traffic victims, alleged sex traffic victims. They found some drugs at one of his estates, but that could have been somebody. He got an east wing and a west wing. That might not have even been his drugs. So, like, what the hell? He got a staff of 200 in each crib. So there ain't even no way to say that was his. And again, I'm not caping for him or making excuses. Like, if you want to talk about it, you got to, talk about it from every single angle. You can't just talk about it from your angle. Well, I think I went well over my time limit on Mr. Combs. Like, I just want to clarify some points. The main point is I'm not caping for the brother. I'm just, being rational, presenting a rational perspective, presenting facts, because throughout our history in our community, people of high stature and at his prominent level in society, they often get targeted by our government and, accused of doing things. Like, we got a history of that. This sick sex pervert, pedophile stuff. This is starting to become a new norm within our community. But again, like I said, who do we learn to do that from? But yeah, I'm gonna move on from that, and all the content creators still talking about it. The best of luck to y'all, and I hope you get what you want out of it, which is the CPMs and the clicks and the likes and the views. I hope it's worth it, raking a brother over the coals for your purposes. But yeah. I was just like bringing a different perspective on it. Now on to my last section here on the Narrative Podcast. This is my final thought or final word section. In this section, what it is just a philosophical thought, a wise word of wisdom, a pearl of wisdom, a gem, a jewel, whatever you want to call it. Just something insightful and something that will resonate with your thought process. If you listen to it and think it's some bull BS, and I'm talking out of my rear end when I say it, the message probably ain't for you, but it'll resonate with somebody. All of them do. So, without any further ado, final thought of the day here on the weekend edition of the Narrative Podcast. My final word of the day here on the Narrative Podcast is don't force it. Don't force it. Don't force your presence. Don't force your time. Don't force your concern. Don't force anything in life. If it's supposed to happen, it will happen. And saying not forcing it, that's not saying don't pursue something you're passionate about. That's saying don't dwell on it. Don't become so obsessed with it. It robs you of your peace. Don't force it. It'll just like happen when it's supposed to happen. And who's ever in your circle is supposed to be in your circle. Whoever in your circle right now is supposed to be there. Whoever's not, they're not supposed to be there. If you're a loner, if you're alone all the time, find yourself alone all the time, wondering like, are you supposed to be alone? Yeah, probably, because you're destined for something great, and everybody can't come with you. So like, definitely never stop trying to improve yourself and be better than you were yesterday, and to give it your all and go after anything in life with gusto. But don't force it. Don't force it. Go with the flow, baby. That's my final word for the Narrative Podcast this week. That's it and that's all. This episode of the Narrative Podcast is a wrap. Join me next weekend for another full edition of the Narrative Podcast, wherever you get your podcast information from. Remember to download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. Keep in mind, I broadcast 2 times during the week. I took a little vacation, a little step back. I do those from time to time. I try to announce when I'm going to take a little break, but sometimes you just got to. So, but anyway, for the most part, I consistently upload 2 times a week, once during the weekday and once during the weekend, and both formats are different. Not by much. I really only have 2 sections during the weekday. That's positive news articles and commentary on current events. That's the only difference between the weekend day and the weekend. It used to be because I would go live, but this platform that I'm on has done away with the live feature. So I don't know if they'll be reinstating it anytime soon, because a lot of users have been requesting live to come back, but I guess that they can't handle their technology can't handle it, because too, like it's too hard for them or whatever. But yeah, so like I said, I broadcast pretty much 2 times a week. My weekdays are completely random. Like I said, I used to go live when I was available to broadcast during the week, use the live function, but they have removed the live function on this platform that I'm on. And so now it's just like, just pre-recorded, but the function that's still here on at like right when I'm done recording, it automatically uploads to YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. So to stay in the loop about the latest broadcast of the Narrative Podcast, follow me on YouTube. My user channel is Halsey Allen. Click the subscribe button, notification all, so you'll always be notified every time a new episode of the Narrative Podcast airs, as well as follow me on Twitter and Halsey Allen. I stay good at Halsey Allen, actually, on X, formerly known as Twitter, and you'll always be up to date on the most recent uploads of the Narrative Podcast. I have also written a book of poetry. If you want to go check that out, it's available on poetizer.com. Poetizer.com has a virtual online bookstore. So what it is it's a platform for poets, obviously, not just for poets, but people that write short stories and compositions, but writers in general. And basically, like, you post, it's kind of like a blog, but they added a feature where, it converts your posts into a book. And so that's what I've done. I converted my post into a book, and the book that I converted into is titled The Black Card. The Black Card is a 30-page book of poetry, chronicling, us as a people, everything about us as a people and all the nuances within our culture and everything we experience as a people through our eyes. It's a good, it'll make a good coffee table read, travel book, stay at home and chill book, pass the time book, a gift if, you want to give somebody a gift and make a good gift. But do yourself a tremendous favor and check that out. It's basically like a how-to book or a survival guide. So go to poetizer.com, visit their virtual online bookstore, and get my book, The Black Card, today, or get your black card revoked. Also check out my personal poetry blog titled Hallzies Poetry Corner on blogger.com, powered by Adam. The link is www.mrhalziesblogs.com, and the name of my personal poetry blog is Hallzies Poetry Corner. And the way you support that is by either sharing the link to Hallzies Poetry Corner or a poem featured on Hallzies Poetry Corner across all platforms. So like whatever platform you're active on, share either the link to my personal poetry blog or a poem featured on my personal poetry blog. And remember, for the algorithm, you can, they got a little like button, the little heart-shaped like button. You can click that. When you visit the link, when you click on the link, the www.mrhalziesblogs.com, and you arrive on my page, which should be like a burgundy reddish color, and you will see all my poems posted on there. You can go like click in the comment box and leave me a little comment. That helps too. But the best way is to share the link or the poems across all platforms. So yeah, but like if you got a YouTube or a TikTok or a visual one, you might have to shout out Hallzies Poetry Corner blog, or a poem featured on there, a poem that you like, to support that. It's really unique, creative, really unique, creative. I spontaneously write all my poetry on Hallzies Poetry Corner blog. In the moment, I don't contemplate on what I'm about to write. I don't contemplate on my title. Literally, I just, the first thought that pops into my head, if I'm in front of if I'm on my phone or in front of a desktop, I post it right on the blog. Whatever my writing apparatus is for that day. So yeah, it's really unique and witty and creative. I spontaneously write them in the moment. So the dope thing about my poetry on that blog, you're guaranteed to find something that you can relate to. That's the cool thing about it. It's relatable poetry. You're guaranteed to connect with a piece on there if you read it. Can relate to it in some area or aspect of your life. So go check that out today. Hallzies Poetry Corner on blogger.com at www.mrhallziesblogs.com. And the tagline for that is Hallzies Poetry Corner, poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. When you read one of them, you will know just what I mean by that. So, but other than that, that's it and that's all. Stay tuned, y'all, for another full episode of the Narrative Podcast next weekend. And just keep your ear to the internet for a random weekday upload of the Narrative Podcast. Well, that's it and that's all. Catch you next week. I'm Hallzie Allen. This has been another great, exciting episode of the Narrative Podcast. I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time. I'm inviting you to become a narrator. And while I'm changing the narrative one episode at a time as a narrator, you can help me change the narrative by changing the narrative on your social media platform, one social media post at a time. Until next time, Hallzie Allen at the Narrative Podcast, signing off, and it's like that.
Listening to the Narrative Podcast with Hallzie Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.